I would have. Oof,
and he laces it in the air to deep center field. Harris is back. He's looking up. This one gonna go. Second of the night for Manny Machado. Number 391 in his major league career. He leaves the yard for his second consecutive inning, and it's 6-2.
Manny Machado, 2 home runs as the Padres cruise to an 8-3 win in Atlanta as they even up this 4-game series at a game apiece. Sam Levitt with you back inside our Padres Radio Network studios. Welcome into our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show here on the Padres Radio Network. As always, our postgame coverage brought to you by Jamul Casino Resort, a player with a top 100 spa, an epic rooftop pool, and Lux Hotel Suites. Jamul Casino Resort is the mini vacay you need, the Players Place. A lot to do on our post-game coverage on this Tuesday evening. We'll go back to Atlanta at Truist Park, hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen. We have all the radio highlights for you, recap this game from start to finish, a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, and much, much more. Well, you have to be very, very encouraged by what you saw offensively from the Padres tonight. And really from 3 players in particular, obviously. 2 home runs for Manny Machado, a home run for Jackson Merrill, and the type of home run from Fernando Tatis Jr. that we haven't seen in a long time. His longest home run by a Padre this season, longest home run in the major leagues this season, quite frankly, a 2021-esque home run from Fernando Tatis Jr. What a performance by those 3 guys today. And that was the story of the game. It wasn't just the Padres win. It wasn't just the fact that the Padres pumped out 8 runs on 13 hits. It was about who did it tonight for the Padres and really how they did it. Consider this. And obviously it has not been the road trip they've wanted so far, 2-3, 5 games in. But consider this. Manny Machado, 3 home runs in his last 2 games. Fernando Tatis Jr., 3 home runs in the last 4 games. Jackson Merrill, 3 home runs in his last 3 games. Tonight was the kind of night, and those numbers are the kinds of numbers that do make you sort of say, hold on a second. All the talk right now about the trade deadline, all the talk about, will the Padres be buyers? Will they be sellers? What will they do? And all that talk is warranted right now for all the reasons, right? The time of year, the way this team has played, and the Padres, even after tonight, are still a game below 500 at 50-51. All those things are true. But if you're talking about those 3 guys turning it up a level, kicking it up a notch, for the next 2.5 months, you are talking about a very different ceiling for this team than I think what they've had the first 100 games in. If you're talking about Fernando all of a sudden being the hitter he's been and finding the power stroke again, if you're talking about Manny hitting home runs at this kind of clip, I mean, it's really just such a weird stat line for Manny this season. He'll end the night with 22 home runs and the batting average still hovering around 200. And then Jackson Merrill, if he can find the consistency and have more games like tonight, you're talking about a very, very different, I think, kind of ceiling for this team. Now, like Tony's pointed out time and time again, the Padres got to go out there and do it tomorrow. They have to find the consistency day to day. But I thought tonight was a good reminder of, if the Padres' big bats do what they're supposed to do, the conversation changes in a major way. It doesn't cure everything, doesn't cure your starting pitching issues, doesn't cure your injury issues, doesn't cure some of your other offensive issues. And I'll put Ty France in the mix as well. I'll call him a big boy today because he's been so good as of late. And by the way, had an RBI single in this game early to kind of set the tone for the Padres offense. But I do think the point is, if those guys can do something like what they did tonight consistently, I think you're talking about a very, very different baseball team and potential for this team in the final 2+ months of the season. We're a long way away from that being reality because they got to keep doing it. But I did think tonight was kind of a good reminder of it, right? When you see those guys do the types of things they did tonight. By the way, against a good starting pitcher in Reynaldo Lopez. I know he has had a little bit of a weird season, but still quality starting pitcher, right-hander in Reynaldo Lopez. And on top of that, the Padres got a good outing from Walker Buehler today. They got a good outing from JP Sears yesterday. You string some days together like the Padres have had. I know yesterday they didn't win, but they got good pitching. You string some of these things together, and then you're building momentum. And there's a chance today the Padres will look up at the end of the night and be 2 games out of a playoff spot. Again, it's not all perfect. There's a lot that needs to be done. There's a lot that needs to be more consistent. I think we all understand that, but this is the kind of game, the way they won it and the guys who contributed and the way they contributed, that I think it does make you think, and it does make you dream a little bit of, if those guys play like that, the conversation around this team is a lot different. We'll see moving forward, but tonight, really nice win, 8-3 win, and the Padres even up this series at a game apiece. When we come back, we'll talk more about what the offense did. We have all the radio highlights for you, full game recap. We'll go back to Atlanta, hear from Craig Stammen coming up a little bit later as well. Final score again today in Atlanta, Padres 8 and the Braves 3. Our post-game coverage continues after this on the Padres Radio Network.
When your home needs an upgrade,
Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our Padres Radio Network studios as we continue to wrap this one up. Final score here today, Padres 8 and the Braves 3. We'll head back to Atlanta, hear from Craig Stammen coming up in just a little bit, so stay tuned for that. We have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming your way. I'll tell you what, and not to spoil it too much, man, a lot of the other teams in this wild card race in the National League, they're losing again. here tonight. So we'll get into it, but this just continues to be, I think, wildly interesting. The Padres are just 2-3 on this road trip, but by the end of tonight, they may have picked up a game and a half in that span. So it is fascinating right now where the Padres stand, what this race looks like, what the Padres may do, may not do at the deadline. I think right now you take it day by day. You see where they are when it's all said and done at the end of the month, and it's the first few days of August. But here tonight, a very nice, convincing 8-3 win against the Braves. Let's recap this one from start to finish.
Which moments determine the outcome of today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game highlights on the Padres Radio Network.
Right-hander Reynaldo Lopez started the game tonight for Atlanta. Top of the first inning, Padres had a runner on third base, 2 men away for the red-hot Ty France.
Pitch here, lined up the middle into center field. How about a 9-game hitting streak and an RBI single for Ty France? Tatis trots home from first, and the Padres get one here, 1-0 in the top of the first inning.
So the Padres with an early lead. Walker Buehler tossed the scoreless opening frame. Padres still led 1-0 going to the second. Buehler issued 2 walks, 2 on base, 2 men away for the Braves' number 9 batter, Jim Jarvis.
Waits, here's the pitch, and first pitch swinging in the air to right center field. Long run, Fernando not going to get there. Over his head, bounces up against the wall. Dubon has scored. Hicklin's right behind him. Jarvis cruising into third with a feet-first slide. A 2-run triple for the San Diegan, and the Braves go ahead. It's 2-1.
Padres still trailed 2-1 going to the fourth inning. Jackson Merrill led off against Lopez.
A 1 pitch hit in the air deep to right center field. Hicklin is going back. This one is up and gonna go. Jackson Merrill got a curveball in the zone, and he hammers it. Tie game here in the fourth.
13th home run of the season for Jackson Merrill. Padres were tied at 2 with Atlanta. At that point, Padres, though, in that fourth inning, were not done. Gavin Sheets drew a 1-out walk. Xander Bogaerts doubled. Luis Rengifo scored Sheets with a ground out. That put the Padres in front 3-2, but there was still a runner in scoring position for Fernando.
First pitch, Fernando laces it the other way towards the right field corner. That'll bounce and hit up against the base of the wall. Picked up by Hicklin. Tatis cruises into second with an RBI double. The Padres have added to their lead. It's now 4-2.
Nice job by the Padres in that fourth inning. A 3-run fourth. They had a 4-2 lead going to the fifth inning. Manny Machado led off.
3-0. Manny launches it deep to left field. Dubon back towards the corner. He's looking up. This one gonna go over the bullpen for Manuel. His 21st of the year. And for the second consecutive night, Manny leaves the building. It's 5-2 here in the fifth.
Let's fast forward to the sixth inning. Padres still up 5-2. Atlanta righty J.R. Ritchie working on the mound. That's when Manuel struck again.
I would have.
Manny laces it in the air to deep center field. Harris is back. He's looking up. This one gonna go. Second of the night for Manny Machado. Number 391 in his major league career. He leaves the yard for a second consecutive inning, and it's 6-2.
So the Padres with a comfortable 6-2 lead. Let's talk about Walker Buehler. He was really solid tonight. He pitched into the sixth inning, got in some trouble, left the game with runners on second and third, 2 men away. Yuki Matsui came in. He walked a pinch hitter in Joey Bart to load the bases, so all of a sudden Braves had the tying run at the plate, but Matsui got a big strikeout of Brewer Hicklin to end the inning and strand the tying run at the dish. Matsui went back out for the seventh inning. He walked the leadoff man, but got the next 2 outs. Bradley Rodriguez came in. He gave up a single to put runners on first and third. Rodriguez then balked in a run. That made it 6-3, but Bradley then struck out Austin Riley to end the inning. Padres still up 6-3 through 7. Let's go to the eighth inning. Ritchie still working. He issued a 1-out walk to Luis Rengifo. Fernando Tatis Jr. was next.
Rengifo runs, and Fernando hits it in the air deep to left center field. Forget it. Dubon's not even going to turn to watch. A long home run. .474 feet for Fernando Tatis Jr. And a 2-run put-away shot here in the eighth. It's 8-3.
474 to deep left center. My goodness, the second farthest home run of Fernando's career, the longest home run in the majors this season. It was an absolute rocket off the bat of Fernando Tatis Jr., the Padres' fourth home run of the night. And that, like Jesse said, was the put-away shot. Adrian Morejon pitching a scoreless eighth inning. Mason Miller putting on the finishing touch in a scoreless ninth inning. Obviously, a non-safe situation for Miller, and that was that here tonight. Final score, Padres 8 and the Braves 3. Padres improved to 50 and 51. Braves dropped to 58 and 42. Final totals for the Padres, 8 runs, 13 hits, and no errors. And for Atlanta, 3 runs, 4 hits, and no errors. The winning pitcher here tonight, Walker Buehler, who went 5 2/3, gave up 2 runs on 2 hits. Reynaldo Lopez, the losing pitcher tonight, 4 innings and a third, 5 earned runs given up on 9 hits. And that was that in this one, as the Padres even up this series at a game apiece. When we return, we'll go back to Atlanta, hear from Padre manager Craig Stammen. Again, the final tonight, Padres 8, Braves 3 on the Padres Radio Network.
You're listening to the
Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score here today, Padres 8 and the Braves 3, as the Padres even up this series at a game apiece. Padres will play 2 more in Atlanta. They will play 3 in Miami over the weekend. And so with that, Padres now halfway through the road trip. They are 2 and 3 on the trip so far. So let's hope the second half of the trip goes better than the first half of the trip. However, really nice win here today. Again, really all the way around with what Walker Buehler did in this game. And certainly you can start the conversation there. 5 2/3 innings, 2 runs given up. Make no mistake about it. That was a big question entering this game, right? What would we see from Walker Buehler against a really good lineup? No secret, Walker's last 3 starts before the All-Star break were not good. He gave up 20 runs across 11 innings in his 3 starts before the break. That was, of course, after Walker had been really, really good for a while. But you did wonder, okay, after the long break, that's a good thing in this situation, getting him some rest. What would we see from Walker tonight? And he was really, really effective. Gave up 2 runs in the second inning, but that was it for Walker Buehler. Again, 5 2/3, really strong innings to pick up the win. Then, obviously, the other big story in this game, what the Padres offense did, and more specifically, the big boys. Fernando Tatis Jr., 3 hits, including a monumental home run to left center, 474 feet, 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored. Manny Machado, 2 home runs in this game, number 21 and 22 on the season. Ty France, what do you know? 2 more hits, including an RBI single early. Jackson Merrill, 2 hits, including a home run. Merrill had a homer. Manny had 2. Fernando had another. All those guys, all of a sudden, hitting home runs with regularity. Really, really nice sign. Not perfect, what the Padres are and what they're doing and their situation is right now, right? A game below 500. But, again, I said it in the opening segment, I do think when you consider the idea that maybe those guys are starting to get it going all together, and certainly from a power standpoint, does make you dream a little bit about what the Padres ceiling could be if those guys really start to get it going. Again, they've got to do it tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. We get that. But this was the kind of game where it does make you think a little bit, okay, overall, they've been swinging the bats better. If you can get those guys cooking like this, I do think it changes the conversation in a major way for this ball club. With all that in mind, as the Padres win it 8-3 tonight in Atlanta, let's go back to Truist Park and hear from Padre manager Craig Stammen.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres skipper Craig Stammen. Served up by Sinley Food. If you've had better chicken, you must be a rooster.
Did you like that lineup?
Well, it worked out, today. We have good hitters, It's not the lineup where they're hitting, it's when they commit to a plan and take good at bats and pitcher doesn't pitch his game, you can put up a game like that, which was a lot of good offense.
You've said several times, in fact, there was a video that used to play at Echo Park about if your big guys hit, you guys would do really well. They hit tonight. What did you think of your big guys?
Yeah, that's true. I think it'll be true the rest of the season too. Not to put a ton of pressure on them, but they feel that pressure anyway. They've gotten the contracts that they've gotten because of who they've been in the past as players and who we believe in them, going forward. We still believe in them as much as we've ever believed in them. And whether that goes the way we want it to go the rest of the season or not, we still believe in them, and we're going to ride them and pat them on the back and encourage them and hopefully get the best out of them as we go forward.
From your vantage point, did Tatis' homer feel like the longest homer in the majors this season?
Yeah, I asked Jorge as soon as I came in how far he hit that one. I was like, that's maybe the farthest one. That was a crazy, he hits it and it just goes, and we all just sit back and like, holy smokes, how far did that go? But just shows the immense talent that he has and why we have so many questions of why he hasn't hit more home runs. If you can hit him that far, why can't you just get one that scrapes over the wall? But easier said than done in Major League Baseball.
The complimentary baseball tonight, the fact that you tacked on and maybe gave Buehler that extra leash, like you haven't always gotten that this season. How big is that today and potentially going forward?
Yeah, you're exactly right. I think that's the thing that we've struggled with most of the year, to tack on those extra runs to give us a little breathing room, for our bullpen and for our starters especially. And we've done that 2 of the last 3 games where we've continued to tack on. We continue to take good at-bats. And I think that's just testament to our hitting coaches working with these guys, getting their swings tightened up, getting them right where they want, where they're not just taking 1 or 2 good at-bats, but they're taking 3 or 4 or 5 the entire night. And we've seen that a little bit more often than not here of late.
What did Walker do after the second inning?
Yeah, I think that's, I was talking about the hitting coaches. Ruben Niebla gets a ton of credit, too, making that in-game adjustment with him. Talking through where his misses were and where his good pitches were and sticking to where those good pitches are and going to that location. And then, Walker doubling down that's what I'm really good at. I'm going to, live and die by that. And he lived tonight with it.
How important was it to have that many walks against you and not really get killed except 1 inning?
Yeah, it's a little bit lucky. A lot of pitchers would say, walks are going to haunt you. Tonight we were able to weave around them and they only hurt us in 1 inning. But is that the way to pitch and live the rest of the season? Probably not the best recipe. Those guys will get back at it and start attacking the zone a little bit more.
I know it's just one swing, but the long home run that AJ was asking you about by Tatis, did that remind you of any swings you used to see when you're still playing with him?
Yeah, he said that was the longest one since 2021. So I remember that one too. That was in Colorado. That was probably a little aided by the atmosphere. However, we've seen him in batting practice. We see him working, and he can hit the ball as far as anybody. We know Fernando Tatis Jr. is one of the most talented baseball players in the whole entire world. But that doesn't mean he's slump-proof. Everybody is going to go through tough times. He handled that tough time and has come out of that, I think, an even better player than he was before.
In hindsight, is it funny to you that we spent all this time asking you about where he was going to bat in order during spring training?
You know what? The lineup is such a crazy thing, and like you have these ideas, and then it doesn't work out, and you're like, well, it must be the lineup. We got to change it around. But if the guys are feeling good at the plate and they're swinging at good pitches, it doesn't matter where they hit; they're going to find success.
Do you like what Xander did besides the double too? He had some balls tonight.
Yeah, Xander showed signs of you're definitely getting out of this little funk that he's been in for a couple months now. Hitting balls a little bit more to right field. He hadn't been able to do that for a while. He's hitting some hard line drives. He had one in KC, had one tonight. He's been walking still with the tough batting average at the plate. So his plate discipline is great. He's going to get out of this too. And eventually, if he's hitting 8 hole for us and he's hot, that means our lineup's in a pretty darn good spot.
That was Padres manager Craig Stammen following this 8-3 win for the Padres in Atlanta tonight. Sam Levitt back with you inside our Padres Radio Network studios. As always, our post-game coverage brought to you by Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Well, first off, remember, we talked in the pregame, and Jesse and Tony certainly talked about it as well. Padres shook up the lineup today. I mean, this was very, very different. Jake Cronenworth batting second. Xander Bogaerts was batting eighth. He had not hit that low in the order in, over a decade. Had a base hit today, had a double. That was good to see. Went the other way with it. But namely, what stood out today, and, forget what the lineup order was or wasn't today, it was the fact that Tatis did what he did, the 3 hits and the massive home run. Manny, the 2 home runs. Merrill, the 2 home runs. And, it was a good point in the questioning there. Padres gave up 8 walks in this game, and they only gave up 3 runs. They were fortunate today to get around those walks the way they did. Credit where credit's due. Padres pitching against the Braves offense that was red hot coming into this series. I mean, make no mistake, Padres pitching has been very good. 3 runs on 4 hits yesterday. I know they lost the game, but still 3 runs on 4 hits. Okay, you can win a game with that. And then here today, walks were an issue, but end of the day, they gave up 3 runs on 4 hits again. So in the first 2 games of this series, they've allowed just 6 runs on 8 combined hits to a really, really good Atlanta offense and a Braves offense that was swinging the bats really well collectively coming in. Do want to give you just a few notes here about Fernando and Manny here before we go to break. How about this? Manny Machado, tonight was his 45th career multi-home run game. He is the 22nd player all-time to reach that amount. He's also just the second active player, along with Aaron Judge, to have 45 multi-home run games. So kind of a cool note there. I was kind of shocked by this one. Manny now has 3 home runs in this series, right in the first 2 games of the series. He has never in his entire career, a career that's probably going to end up in Cooperstown one day, he has never hit 4 home runs in a single series. Isn't that weird? Never in his whole career. So I bring it up to say Manny will have a chance the next 2 days to do something he's never done, which is hit 4 home runs in a single series. So he's got 2 games to do it. So I thought that was interesting. We said this earlier, Fernando's home run, the second farthest home run of his career. And you heard Craig Stammen mention the longest there. That was June 16th, 2021 at Coors Field in Colorado, 477 feet. So he did not come all that far away from it. This one, 474, the farthest home run by anyone in the majors this season. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the Padre bullpen, what they did today. Full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming your way as well. If you want to get a phone call in, phone number to call is always 833-288-0973. As always, 833-288-0973, the phone number to dial. Final score again tonight, Padres 8 and the Braves 3. Our postgame coverage continues after this.
Nothing goes better with San Diego's
Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our Padres Radio Network studios on this Tuesday evening. Appreciate you joining us as we continue to wrap this one up. Final score, Padres 8 and the Braves 3. As always, our postgame coverage brought to you by Jamul Casino Resort. Hey, player. The rooftop pool's open. Day passes are available, and the spa is calling your name. Jamul Casino Resort, the player's place. Can't wait to get out to Jamul Casino Resort. Probably in the off season, a little busy during baseball season. Probably in the off season, go out there, enjoy the pool, enjoy the spa, eat some great food. I had a great meal out there once, so I'll go out there. I'll enjoy it. Hope you do as well. As always, big thank you to our post-game sponsor, the great Jamul Casino Resort. Let's tell you about today's relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher entered the game and slammed the door shut? This is today's relief pitcher of the game, brought to you by San Diego criminal defense attorney David P. Shapiro. We help good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime. Learn more at davidpshapirolaw.com.
Our relief pitcher of the game here today, we will give it to... Who do we give it to? Well, it's going to sound a little weird. It won't sound weird, but if you just looked at the box score of this game, you might be a little confused by it. But I'm actually going to give it to the guy who was the only reliever today charged with a run, and that is Yuki Matsui. And here's why we're going to give it to Yuki today, because Yuki comes in the 6th inning. At that point, the Padres are leading 6-2. Walker Buehler, who was good, comes out of the game. Yuki comes in, faces the pinch hitter Joey Bart, because Yuki came in to face Yastrzemski, the lefty. Walt Weiss goes to Joey Bart to pinch hit. Yuki walks him. So at that point, tying run at the plate in Brewer Hicklin. Big spot. And Yuki strikes out Hicklin, inning over, keeps the Padres ahead 6-2. Then Yuki goes back out for the 7th inning, walks a batter, gets an out. Bradley Rodriguez comes in. He ends up giving up a single and then balking in a run. That run charged to Yuki. So I'll give it to Yuki because you know what? You look at this outing, got out of a big jam in that 6th inning. If he does not get Hicklin out in that spot, who knows how this game turns out? I mean, tying run at the plate, home run, grand slam, ties the game. That was a big spot. And I think by far and away the most kind of intense, high leverage spot that the Padres had in their bullpen today, and Yuki got out of it. So for that reason, Yuki Matsui, our relief pitcher of the game. Good job by the rest of the bullpen. Adrian Morejon, scoreless 8th inning. The only thing he didn't love out of the bullpen today was Mason Miller. Now, it was a little interesting because the Padres, by the time the 9th inning rolled around, they already had a 5-run lead. I guess, look, Mason has not pitched a lot, as you know, so that probably was part of it, wanting to just get Mason some work and get him in a game after he was already probably up and stretching and getting loose. So, okay, I get it. The only thing about it, though, Mason threw 21 pitches. It was not the easiest of innings in a non-save situation. So you didn't love that, but is what it is here tonight. Mason gets through it, pitches a scoreless inning, but Yuki Matsui, our relief pitcher of the game. It was a very, very big night for the Padres' heart of the order. Let's tell you more about it.
Let's take the pulse of the Padres and check in on the heart of the order. Presented by Palomar Health Medical Group.
Heart of the order here tonight, Manny, France, and Merrill. 3, 4, 5 spots in the Padres batting order. Manny Machado, 2 hits, the 2 home runs in this game. Number 21 and 22 on the season for Manny. Ty France, 2 hits in this game, including an RBI single and a double. Jackson Merrill, 2 hits, including a home run. So very, very productive day for the 3, 4, 5 spots. Manny 2 hits, France 2 hits, Merrill 2 hits, a combined 6 hits, 3 home runs, and 4 RBIs for the heart of the order today. Not too shabby. Good job by those guys, and a good job by everybody else too. Fernando had 3 hits, the home run. Cronenworth had a hit. Camposano had a single. Bogarts had a hit. Rengifo had a hit. In fact, the only Padres starter that did not have a hit was Gavin Sheets. So 8 out of the 9 starters today for the Padres did collect a hit. Gavin Sheets really going through it right now. He's 1 for his last 30, so you hope to get him going a little bit before you get out of Atlanta. But aside from that, really nice job by the Padres offense tonight. 8 runs on 13 hits. When we return, we'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. We'll get you ready for tomorrow's 3rd game of this 4-game series in Atlanta. Again, the Padres win it here tonight, 8-3 over the Braves on the Padres Radio Network.
Stay tuned to the home.
Moving and grooving on a Tuesday evening in America's finest city. Why not? Really nice win for the Padres here today in Atlanta. Final score, Padres 8 and the Braves 3, as we welcome you back into our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show here on the Padres Radio Network. Padres evening up this 4-game series at a game apiece. Padres will have Michael King on the mound tomorrow. They'll face a former Padre. We'll tell you more about that in just a moment. First, let's take a look at the full out-of-town scoreboard on this Tuesday.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
We have a number of finals already today. The Astros beat the Marlins 5-3 in Houston. Marlins have now lost 8 consecutive games. They had been one of the real great stories of the season so far. They are going through it right now. Now, with that said, Marlins still ahead of the Padres in the wild card race. However, they are sinking 5-3 the final in Houston. Marlins have now lost 8 in a row. Cubs beat the Tigers at Wrigley today 11-2. Rangers blanked the White Sox 10-0 in Arlington. Royals beat the Giants 3-2 in Kansas City. Mets 4, Brewers 0 in Milwaukee. Zach Thornton earning his first career win in that game for the Mets young pitcher. Rays beat up on the Blue Jays 12-2 in Toronto. Guardians beat the Twins 5-2 in Cleveland. The Dodgers beat the Phillies 2-1 in Philadelphia. Dodgers got the runs on a 2-run home run by Max Muncy in that game. Games going on right now. Nationals and the Rockies tied at 7 in Colorado in the 7th inning. Angels leading the Cardinals 5-1 in Anaheim in the 5th inning. D-backs lead the A's 3-1 5th inning in Arizona. Reds lead the Mariners 3-0 in Seattle in the 5th. We had a couple of games postponed today due to rain on the East Coast. Pirates and the Yankees postponed in the Bronx. They will make that game up as part of a doubleheader tomorrow. And the Orioles and Red Sox at Fenway, they were postponed as well. Red Sox, remember, have won 14 in a row. They'll make that up as part of a doubleheader tomorrow as well. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Tuesday. Final score in Atlanta today, Padres 8 and the Braves 3. Let's hear tonight's play of the game.
One bounce, one hit, one pitch can be the difference between victory and defeat. What was the most important play in today's game? This is today's play of the game. Presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating and Air, Restoration and Flood. We know how.
Rengifo runs, and Fernando hits it in the air. Deep to left center field, forget it. Dubon's not even going to turn to watch. A long home run. .474 feet for Fernando Tatis Jr. And a 2-run put-away shot here in the 8th. It's 8-3.
That was tonight's play of the game. Fernando Tatis Jr., a 2-run home run, the longest home run in the majors this season, 474 feet, the second longest home run of Fernando's career, and for Tatis, his 8th home run of the season. I said this a little bit earlier, and before I get to these guys, I do want to mention Ty France, of course, has 5 home runs in his last 7 games. But if you were to take away one thing from this game, kind of big picture, I think, and I said this in the opening segment, essentially, it would be this. Manny, 3 home runs in his last 2 games. Fernando, 3 home runs in his last 4 games. Jackson Merrill, 3 home runs in his last 3 games. I'm not sitting here and telling you that a team that is 50-51 has, cured everything with 1 game or some big guys hitting home runs. What I will tell you is, if what we are seeing is those 3 guys starting to really come together at the same time, really start to hit for power, I do think it changes some of the conversation about what this team is capable of. I do. It's a really, really big deal. Again, they got to go out, do it tomorrow and the next day and the next day. But it's a good sign for this team, the fact that those guys are contributing, those guys are hitting home runs. See if they can continue it. But no doubt about it, those three guys from a power perspective especially, it's been encouraging as of late. Do want to just give you the update on the wild card standings. I believe this is the way that it will sort out tonight if some of the scores hold. Right now, you got the Cardinals trailing in Anaheim. Pirates again got rained out today. Diamondbacks are winning. Who are they playing again? Who did I say? Doesn't matter. Diamondbacks are winning, and the Marlins lost. So if those scores hold, I believe what it'll look like at the end of tonight, Pirates and the Diamondbacks, again, if the Diamondbacks win, they would be tied for the final wild card spot. Pirates and D-backs. Cardinals and Marlins would both drop a half game out, and then the Padres would gain a half game and be 2 out. So, look, there's no way around it. Padres are in a really interesting spot, both in just the baseball standpoint, being a game below 500, but only 2 games out of a playoff spot, but also, no doubt, from a trade deadline standpoint. On one hand, you're a game below 500. On one hand, you've got numbers and overall stats as far as pitching and offense that are not super promising, 100-plus games in. On the other hand, you got Manny hitting 2 home runs today, Fernando hitting balls 474 feet, Ty France is red hot, Jackson's hitting the ball better, and you're 2 games out of a playoff spot. It is it's a bit of an interesting, fascinating scenario, I think, here on July 21st. The Padres find themselves in. It should be an interesting rest of the road trip, lead up to the trade deadline, and so on and so on. All right, taking a look ahead to tomorrow, same time, same place, 4:15 p.m. First pitch on the West Coast from Atlanta. Our pregame coverage will begin at 3:15. Pitching matchup tomorrow, on the mound for the Padres, right-hander Michael King. On the mound for the Braves, the former Padre left-hander Martin Perez. As always, if you missed any portion of our post-game coverage, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast, available on the free Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcast. You can also go back on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel and watch any portion of our post-game coverage there as well. A look at the final totals in this one here tonight for the Padres: 8 runs, 13 hits, no errors. They left on 7. For the Braves, 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors. They left on 9. Winning pitcher today, Walker Buehler, who improves to 6-5. Losing pitcher, Reynaldo Lopez, who drops to 4-3. Time of game, 2 hours and 50 minutes in the crowd at Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia, 31,870. Once again, first pitch tomorrow, 4:15 p.m. Our pregame coverage begins at 3:15. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Jeff Hamby, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long and good night from inside our Padres Radio Network studios. In the final score here tonight, the San Diego Padres 8 and the Atlanta Braves 3. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Padres Radio Network. Have a great rest of your night, everybody.